Hi, Belly Girl. It's Issy, and today we're reading Paddington. We got to see him in London, and I thought this would be really cute to read. Mr. and Mrs. Brown first met Paddington on a railway platform. In fact, that's how they came to have such an unusual name for a bear, because Paddington was the name of the station. The Browns were waiting to meet their daughter, Judy, when Mr. Brown noticed something small and furry near the left luggage office. "It looks like a bear," he said. "A bear?" Miss Brown repeated. "In Paddington Station? Don't be silly, Henry. There can't be." But Mr. Brown was right. It was sitting on an old leather suitcase marked "Wanted on Voyage." And then, as they drew near, it stood and politely raised its hat. "Good afternoon," it said. "May I help you?" "That's very kind of you," said Mr. Brown. "But as a matter of fact, we were wondering if we could help you." "You're very small for a bear," said Miss Brown. "Where are you from?" The bear looked around carefully before replying. "Darkest Peru. I'm not really supposed to be here at all. I'm a stowaway." "Oh my goodness! Look at the little bear." "You don't mean that you said that you've come all the way from South America on your own?" exclaimed Miss Brown. "Whatever did you do for food?" Unlocking the suitcase, the bear took out an almost empty glass jar. "I eat marmalade," it said. "Bears like marmalade." Miss Brown looked at the label around the bear's neck. It simply said, "Please look after this bear. Thank you." "Do you like marmalade? You don't even know what marmalade is yet, do you?" "Oh, Henry," she cried. "We can't leave him here all by himself. There's no knowing what might happen to him. Can't he come home and stay with us?" "Stay with us?" repeated Mr. Brown nervously. He looked down at the bear. Would you like that?" he asked. "That is," he added hastily, "if you have nothing else planned." "Ooh, yes," replied the bear. "I would like that very much. I have nowhere to go, and everyone seems in such a hurry." It's true, people are rushing around all the place. "That settles it," said Mrs. Brown. "Now, you must be thirsty after your journey. Mr. Brown can get you some tea while I go meet our daughter, Judy." "But, Mary," said Mr. Brown, "we don't even know its name." Miss Brown thought for a moment. "I know," she said. "We'll call him Paddington, after the station." "Paddington!" The bear tested it several times to make sure. "It sounds very important." Mr. Brown tried it next. "Follow me, Paddington," he said. "I'll take you to the snack bar." Mr. Brown was as good as his word. Paddington had never seen so many snacks on one tray, and he didn't know which to try first. He was so hungry and thirsty that he climbed onto the table to get a better look. Mr. Brown turned away, pretending he had tea with a bear at Paddington Station every day of his life. "Henry!" cried Mrs. Brown when she arrived with Judy. "What are you doing to that poor bear?" Paddington jumped up to raise his hat, and in his haste, he slipped on a strawberry tart, skidding on the cream and fell over backward into his cup of tea. Oh dear. "I think we'd better go before anything else happens," said Mr. Brown. Judy took hold of Paddington's paw. "Come along," she said. We'll take you home and you can meet Mrs. Bird and my brother, Jonathan. Mr. Brown led the way to the awaiting taxi. Number 32, Windsor Gardens, please, he said. The driver stared at Paddington. Bears is extra, he growled. Sticky bears is twice as much. And make sure none of that comes off on my interior. It was clean when I set out this morning. Very mean taxi driver. The sun was shining as they drove out of the station, and there were cars and big red buses everywhere. Paddington waved to some of the people at a bus stop, and several of them waved back. It was all very friendly. Paddington tapped the taxi driver on his shoulder. It isn't a bit like darkest Peru, he announced. The man jumped at the sound of Paddington's voice. Cream, he said bitterly. Cream and jam all over my coat. He slid the little window behind him shut. Oh dear, Henry, murmured Mrs. Brown. I wonder if we're doing the right thing. Fortunately, before anyone had time to answer, they arrived at Windsor Gardens, and Judy helped Paddington onto the pavement. Now you're going to meet Mrs. Bird, she said. She looks after us. She's a bit fierce at times, but she doesn't really mean it. I'm sure you'll like her. Paddington felt his knees begin to wobble. I'm sure I shall, if you say so, he replied. Thing is, will she like me? Goodness gracious, exclaimed Mrs. Bird. What have you got there? It's not a what? It's a bear called Paddington, and he's come to stay with us. A bear? Said Miss Bird, as Paddington raised his hat. Well, he has good manners. I'll say that for him. I'm afraid I stepped on a jam tart by mistake, said Paddington. I can see that, said Mrs. Bird. You better have a bath before you get very much older. Judy can turn it on for you. I dare say you'll be wanting some marmalade, too. I think she likes you, whispered Judy. Paddington had never seen a bathroom before. While the water was running, he made himself at home. First of all, he tried writing his name on the steam on the mirror. Then he used Mr. Brown's shaving cream to draw a map of Peru on the floor. It wasn't until a drip landed on his head that he remembered what he was supposed to be doing. Soon he discovered that getting into the bath was one thing, but it's quite another matter getting out again, especially when it's full of soapy water. Uh-oh. Paddington tried calling out, "Help!" At first, it was a quiet voice, so not to disturb anyone else. Then a very loud, "Help! Help!" When that didn't work, he began bailing the water out with his hat, but his hat had several holes in it, and his map of Peru soon turned into sea foam. Suddenly, Jonathan and Judy burst into the bathroom, lifting a dripping Paddington onto the floor. "Thank goodness you're all right," cried Judy. "We heard you calling out." Fancy making such a mess," said Jonathan admiringly. "You should have pulled out the plug." "Oh," said Paddington. "I never thought of that." Oh, Paddington. When Paddington came downstairs, he looked so clean that no one could possibly be cross with him. His fur was all soft and silky, his nose gleamed, and his paws had lost all traces of the jam and cream. The Browns made room for him in a small armchair, and Miss Bird brought him a pot of tea and a plate of hot buttered toast and marmalade. After a while, when nothing had happened, they began to get restless. Mr. Brown tried coughing, and then he reached across and poked Paddington. "Well, I never," he said. "I do believe he's fast asleep." "After all that's happened to him," said Mrs. Brown. "Is it any wonder?" Bye, Belly Girl. I'll see you in the next one.